eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, the one who made time to see the universe. Known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amen-Ra-Ata, among the Hebrews as Ansar, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims in the Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes as Olodumare, Obatala, and many other Orisha gods. But I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, eternal divine spirit. And it's to that essence whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we are those children of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. Greet you all in the ancient but yet holy words of peace, in many languages of our fathers of Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Baragani, Alafia, and Ashe. All greeting words and salutations of peace in the many different languages of our people. Welcome to Atonement Nation, aka Temple of Mercy Association, located at 616 East 171st Street on this day, Sunday. I believe it's August 2nd or 3rd, August 3rd, 2025. I'm Brother Minister Raheem Ata, the founder of this great movement, along with our First Lady of this movement, my wife, Sister Makita Aisha Ata. Today, as we've done in the past, we start the first week off talking about our prescribed reading. Our prescribed reading today is the book Philosophy and Opinions of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And I want you also to know that he has another book out called Race First. And that basically is what I want to talk to you about, that term, race first. And Temple Mercy Association is an all-inclusive, yet Black conscious righteous movement dedicated to the upliftment of Blacks in North America and in the world. But I also want you to know that by us being all-inclusive, we accept Black people from many different nationalities and in many different cultures that they call themselves here in North America. Being that lost 13 tribe, we actually don't know who we are. But we do know that if the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins, that we have a piece and a part of all that are here on this planet. Why? Because of the way we were made, the way we were created. We are the children of those who survived the transatlantic slave trade. But yet there were many of us that were raped by the slave masters. And they had different groups or colonies here from Britain, Germany, and other places that they also had slaves. Even the Jews, who they say had the most slaves, they were impregnating our women, and the men, the Black slave men, were impregnating some of the children of the slave masters. Not only their daughters and sons, but some of the slave masters themselves. And so out of all of that mixture of the blood over time, over 400 years, God created a new people who are lost from their true selves. But people like the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the Honorable, I'd say Minister Louis Farrakhan, but him too, but more so his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They came and resurrected us to try their best to show us and tell us who we are as a people, praying that eventually, one day, we will come back to our true selves and the self that we are right now today as the gods of planet Earth and resurrect those who will listen to stand up to take back that which is ours, to create for ourselves our own community, our own society, our own nation. Excuse me. Playing yesterday on a little horse. So, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey is a Jamaican, born in Jamaica, and came to America because his people in Jamaica didn't accept him. Sad to say, but it's true. He first started what God had put on his mind right there in Jamaica. They threw rocks at him, they talked about him, and he left. He, in his studies, came upon a guy here in America. If y'all can remember his name, please help me out. Booker T. Washington. And he heard Booker T. Washington talk about us being up from slavery. And he heard Booker T. Washington was a professor, you know, and he had gotten to a level where he was saying some of the same things that Garvey envisioned. And he said, I got to meet this man. I want to talk to him. And so he set out to come to America. But sad to say that when he got here, Booker T. Washington had made his transition. And he was a little sad, but he didn't come back to Jamaica right away. What he did was, I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. The water started pouring. When I was shaking this, I guess it just, or is there a hole in this? It is, it's cracked. So I need also a towel because it's been leaking out all over the podium. Yeah, it's cracked. So anyway, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he said something called, "Up, you mighty race, and you can accomplish what you will." And he didn't mean accomplish what you want. He was saying you can accomplish what you willed in your mind to accomplish. And he said we were a mighty race. He knew, but he didn't know at the same time how special we here in America was as opposed to the people in Jamaica. That we had a special calling. Ooh, boy, it's a lot too. It's no still. Oh, podium up here. Yeah. Yeah, put this. Give me that teacher. It's a lot. Yeah. So as I speak to you, I am cleaning off my podium because the cup leaks. But Marcus Mosiah Garvey has said, where's the black man's government? And the reason he said that, brothers and sisters, is because Britain and France was ruling Africa. And it looked like we had our own government, but they were ruling those that were in authority in these African countries. And in some of the countries today, they still are. And so he said, where is our own country ruled by us? And I want to give kudos to the guy in Africa now in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, who took upon himself to rule his country without the British, without the French, without the Chinese, and all of those others. He actually put them out of the country and took back the gold that the other countries was mining in their mines and bringing all, taking all the resources and going back to their countries. He stopped it. See? And I'm sure if Marcus Garvey was alive today, he'd probably be on a ship right now on his way to Burkina Faso to congratulate that man and to give him a hand. I'm sure he would. But you know the powers that be here in this world, on this planet. Every time a black man or a black woman desires to do for self and to have our own, we know that they come and conspire and put things together to malign your character or to assassinate you. Why? Because they rule the world. And they're not going to let someone like us push them out the way of their rule. Now, we know that what's on the bottom eventually rises to the top. We didn't have Marcus Garvey lay out a blueprint, and it's still around today. We didn't have the Honorable Elijah Muhammad lay out a blueprint for Black America. That if we use those blueprints, we can get off the economic bottom. And if we connect ourselves to this higher power that exists in all of us, but actually resonates in Blacks here in America more than you do any other group on planet Earth. I hope y'all hear me. All right. And once we truly study both of them, why do I keep mentioning both of them? Why? Is because Marcus Mosiah Garvey basically came up under what you may call a Christian understanding. Now, in his birth, he came up learning about Haile Selassie and all of those people. But later on, coming here, and when he was in Jamaica, he believed in the God and the Jesus of the Bible, right? And so for those Christians who just can't stomach Islam, then I present to you Marcus Garvey's book, Philosophies and Opinion of Marcus Garvey. And for those who are not Christian or not caught up in that and can set aside your difference and read the books by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, especially those that deals with economics and dealing with knowing who you are as the God of this planet, we would come alive tomorrow. See, it shouldn't be some small enclosed group of people, you know. And then you got Marcus Garvey's group. I have to say this, brothers and sisters. I believe there's a certain fear among us who are striving to be somebody, so to speak, economically and be successful in this world. Striving to be. I believe there's a level of fear in us that when we truly find out our history, and when we truly know that 99% of most of the inventions were invented by us, the ones that were invented here in America, and then when we continue to find out how many inventions that we use today, the computer and your phone, what role Black people had in making it become available to us. Once we learn all of that, because we thought that the white man was the ones who was, you know, the creators of these things, and then finding out that they weren't, and 99% of that was us here in America. And then you go back and look at the mysteries of Kemet, the mysteries of the Nile Valley civilization, the mysteries of all the different people in Africa, and all of their creations of pyramids and different things like that, where we thought that wigs and perfumes and combs and brushes and picks and shoes and things like that, we thought that they were made here in America when the ancient Kemites had already created those things. Another group of Blacks on another side of the continent. See, then to the same degree that I'm trying to wake us up with this, there's another group of people in that other race who are working just as hard to keep us asleep. Every day. Every day. And I just want to say this to you all, that Normally you hear in our opening the points of what we believe and know. The 13 points of what we believe and know. Mostly everything that's not factual starts with a belief. And we say what we believe and know because if you believe first, that establishes something that you can just go by and say, well, I believe it, I believe it. But it's not a fact. But as you grow and study, you begin to know. And once you begin to know, if all that you learn, all you can do with it is write a book or find somebody to express it to, but if it cannot reawaken you to become the God that God placed you here to be, then it is useless. It's all useless. It's all jargon. It's all crap. You know, I was saying something earlier today that ain't nobody gonna know most of the people that was at this table I was at today in 100 and 200 and 300 years from now. I haven't finished the part to say, but 200 years ago, people knew who Mark and Peter and John and all of them was, but they remember you. Will your own family remember you after you die 100 years from now? 200 years from now, 300 years from now, 400 years from now. But some of them people in their book still last to this day. Those many years later, will you be lucky enough that your name can come up in somebody's mouth 500 years from now? How many people do you think are dead right now and nobody knew they ever existed? Nobody. So here we are, finite creatures, coming into the world, trying to grab all we can to learn about our surroundings first, then going outside of our surroundings in a book first. You didn't travel first. In a book first, which were nothing but the thoughts of the authors who wrote it, who in this room can say, are they really correct? Your experience in life itself is the only correction you get, because that's the only thing you should be conscious of. Your experience in this life and what it led you to do after coming to that conclusion. How? After you found who? Yourself. Not somebody else, yourself. See? And so the Honorable Marcus Garvey, he looked at what others were doing. And he didn't visualize someone else being the solution to the problem. He didn't do that. And he didn't knock the other ones who wasn't being the solution to the problem. What he did was say, I'll do it. I'll do what I see as the solution. This is what makes the Temple of Mercy Association so unique, is because that's what we said. We came to that conclusion and said, well, nobody's listening to us. Nobody's hearing what we're talking about. Well, we'll create our own. We tried to work with so many different people. We worked with a brother who had a newspaper, and we clashed with that understanding. So what we did, we made our own. We worked with some Masonic brothers and all, said, look, we got so many brothers here. Why don't we hit the street and address these issues? Why don't we hit the street and address what's going on, not in the streets? Because before it started going on in the streets, guess where it went? It was in your head and in your house. Before you walk out the door. So when we come and address those things, you're going to get kickback. You're going to get people saying, how dare you? But now, here's the true challenge of who you are. Will you back away or will you continue to fight? Will you just stop fighting and become an armchair mystic? Would you just stop fighting and just be a historian. I'll just teach history. If it's Black history, then that'll be my contribution to Black society. What more in history are you going to write? Until it all starts sounding the same. And why would it start sounding the same? Because we ain't done nothing new. That's why it's going to start sounding the same. What other history you going to write? Tell me what you're going to say in it. There were a couple of books out that was historical, believe it or not. And it was by a man named Donald Goines. And it was another book by Iceberg Smith. He put out a whole bunch of books. Brothers and sisters, if you go get those books and tell me that we've changed and something is different and those things are not happening now, I'll give you $5,000. Everything in those books is still happening right now today as we speak. Have there been change? You tell me. Yeah, you change your shoes, your clothes, your style, and your personality, but what's happening to Black people is the same in America. See? Now, what you gonna say? Well, that's just in the ghetto. No, in your little upper class little area. I need some more tissue. In your little middle class lifestyle. You look at the TV and you see shootings and killings in our neighborhood, but not in yours. You see bombs at Walgreens and outside the gas station, but not in your neighborhood. But then your son or your daughter shoot somebody, get strung out on drugs, start robbing the people in your neighborhood so that they can support their habit. Being caught for crimes of spending people's credit cards and people's social security numbers and things like that. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. And then you say, my God, why is this? Am I saying anything different? No. Can I say anything different? Yeah. If I can find some people truly willing to die for change, then we'll have change. I'll use the other term, truly willing to die for change. I don't mean go out there and kill yourself. I'm saying not being afraid to die because of what you might stand for, because of what you might be exposing, because of what you might be teaching. And most people who are in that position to stand up and fight, like we said, they have been silenced. Why? Because of the offer, which I call shut-up fee, given to you so that you can live a certain lifestyle. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. Well, let's look at Marcus Garvey. He had over 2 million people. Matter of fact, 4 million. He had money flowing back and forth into his organization where some of his members, most of his members was living pretty good. They had homes, they had all of that. And they went to school, but they went to a school that Marcus Garvey set up. They graduated, but they was part of a graduation ceremony that Marcus Garvey set up. They got degrees and certificates, but they got them under the auspices of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And the ACL was the economic engine or arm of the UNIA. And that's when, and see, you know, they were very wise. They would get some white people, teach them some things, put some suits on, have them go and purchase real estate and communities, buy the real estate, sell it back to Garvey. Garvey have a big old housewarming party. And the white people down there pulled their hair out their head and went crazy when they saw that party on their block. Negroes all over the place. Where did they come from? How did they get here? Because he was a strategist. And you can't be afraid to do that today. You can't be. Yes, they're going to take some of us out, but you got to be willing to die. If you feel in your heart there's a future in what you are doing, if you don't see a future in what you are doing, and I'm going to tell you, your future comes in looking at the younger people coming up behind you. That's what determines the future. And what did you place in their head? What did you place in their heart? We got so many black people with these damn grants, which they now are paying school children to come into their edifice to learn and be paid for learning. But now, if we went to each one of them and said, hey, let them study Marcus Garvey's philosophies and opinions. Let them do poetry and poems of Marcus Garvey. Let them work hard to be part of a parade, Garvey parade, every year. Let them understand what true entrepreneurship looks like. I say true entrepreneurship. See, people think entrepreneurship is by that corner store right there. And set it up, and all the people come to your store and they eat. No, true entrepreneurship is first by the community, then put at the store and all that other stuff. Why do I say that? Because we don't own nothing. Now, I'm not saying nothing that wasn't done before. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad almost bought up 2 or 3 or 4 blocks between Cottage Grove and King Drive from 75th to 83rd. I'm telling you this. And I was blessed to be alive and young enough to understand when I saw your supermarket on 83rd to Cottage Grove. And right next door to a meat market. Right next door, 83rd and Cottage Grove. And across the street, that's a long restaurant, brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about what I read in the book. I'm talking about what I saw in my own eyes. And as a teenager, I had a chance to play at the Salon Restaurant on 83rd and Cottage Grove. We came in early to try to do a, what you call it, like run over some stuff before the event that evening. And everybody that came to the door got searched. And everybody had to put a tie around their neck, whether they had a jacket or not. The sisters, if they weren't dressed right, we had a female vocalist. She had to go home and put something else on that they told was more suitable for her coming in there. Look at that. We can't get back to that. A couple of blocks over, before King Drive, Langley and others, around 79th Street, from 79th to 80th and Langley, they own both sides of the street. And on Sunday, you saw the women and men of the Nation of Islam stepping out to get in their cars to go over to the mosque on 83rd and College. And all you saw on the whole block was the women dressed in what they wear and the brothers in the suit leaving off the block. Brothers and sisters, if it could be done by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad then, why can't we do it now? On my block, it's almost nothing but Hispanics now. On 59th and Princeton, where we had a reunion, almost all Hispanics now. How come they know how to do it, but we still refuse to do it? Not saying we don't know how. I said we still refuse to do it. What is wrong with us, Black America? What is wrong with our thinking? What is wrong that we cannot remove the microchip that's in our brain that's keeping us from moving forward as a unit? You heard me say last week, or was it the week before, whatever it was, I mentioned all these brothers with all this money, all these sisters with all this money, Rihanna, Beyonce, all of them in the entertainment field. The reason I mention most of the people in the entertainment field because I'm in the entertainment field, and those names that pop up, readily in my mind. But these are billionaires. Just a little bit. These are billionaires. And these billionaires have invested richly in America. But people like Warren Buffett, people like Bill Gates, people like, what's that guy name? Tesla. Yes, Elon Musk, which is supposed to be the richest person in the world, they say. They say, but I don't think he is. Believe it or not, they invest in each other's stuff. And so they basically work together. And when they get something to the point that it can be put on the stock market, then it's open to the rest of them. See what I'm saying? But now, mostly what we're doing, what T.I. doing, they ain't gonna be on the stock market. Not at all. What Mike Epps did ain't gonna be on the stock market. I'm just trying to be honest with you. And go all the way back. But Ali did never made the stock market. But Ernest did never made the stock market. Seems like Michael Jordan, they made his drawers. That ain't his t-shirt. And them show ain't his damn shoes. It's not his steakhouse. Y'all need to understand where I'm coming from. See, so if we cannot come together, and this is what I was trying to say to them when I didn't speak much, is that we can all come together and talk about all these different religions and all these different cultures and try to prove we was this and we was that. And when we leave out of here, we the same niggas we was when we walked in the door. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just saying it like it is. We might be wise as hell or wise as hell. We might know everything, but can't do a damn thing with what you got. And that's what the problem is. We got to come together, put aside religious and philosophical differences. And this is why Marcus Garvey did not raise up a particular religion inside of his nation. He let you be caught up in whatever one you want to be caught up in, as long as you don't get in the way of our rights. If it did, you had a problem with God. Nation of Islam chose Islam. Others chose the other groups. But when it comes down to it, we all in this damn boat together. I don't care what it looks like. Ain't no bullet gonna miss your child because you in another culture. AIDS ain't gonna miss your child because you in another culture. It's not gonna happen. So there are many plans and blueprints. Y'all help me out with this title. African Civilization. The other about Walter somebody. Is that it? Yeah, that book. In the back of that book, it gives you a blueprint of what we need to do to get our life together. There was another book, remember this one? By T. Shopper or something like that. It was about Black leadership, part 1 and book 2. Art of Leadership. Yeah, over T. Shopper. In that book were blueprints for us to get off the economic bottom and for us to get our lives together as a people. And many other books. Look at all of this stuff that's available to us. And I'm talking about old books. Let me come up to date, Calvinomics. Right there. For all the educated folks, Calvinomics. For all the ones uneducated, I'm Elijah Muhammad. And what I mean is giving it to you in your language. The same thing in your language, according to your understanding. So what's the matter? What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of the white man? And other brothers and sisters, why are you blocking for the white man? And the rest of us, why are you just sitting around watching? We all got a part to play. We all gonna die. We all alive right now. We gonna die. And when we die, it's too late to feel bad for what you didn't do. You might want to feel bad like that while you're dying. Once you did, that's it. 100 years from now, like I said earlier. Hey, look, 100 years from now, we know Marcus Garvey will. We know you. Y'all catch what I meant by that? When I said that? I said at this table right here, 100, 200, 300 years from now, who's going to know your name? Gonna keep it going. You don't hear no Earl Sargent today, do you? Y'all know who he is, right? Earl Sargent. Died at 97 years old, our first civil rights leader. You don't hear nothing about it. We wouldn't hear about Webb Evans if somebody would have kept his name going. Will we know Webb Evans 100 years from now? Will we know Claude Anderson 100 years from now? 200 years from now? 300 years from now? Now, we can't answer none of them like really totally affirmative, right? But will we be in the same condition 100, 200, 300 years from now? Now, that's the question. That's the question. You got some wise men in Africa like Nelson Mandela, who took 30 years of torture and survived. Some of us can't take a day of torture. 15 minutes of it. 30 years. Then they let him out. I'm not going to go to the negative side. I'm going to stay on the positive. They let him out, and he became the president of South Africa. I wonder how he slept at night. You know how the soldiers in Vietnam and all had these little nightmares and stuff from what they experienced in the service in the army? Yeah. I wonder how nobody told that side of him that he went through in his quiet moments. The brothers and sisters, that we never get anybody else in America to step up to the plate and to expose evil wherever it's at, and expose the hand of those who are against our rise and those who are profiting off us being in this condition. If we don't get any people to stand up and say something and do something, it's going to get worse. And just like Trump is putting us back from the 1960s to the 1860s and all, we, brothers and sisters, are going to push ourselves back. Not over to the kingdom, but back. We're going to help Trump push us back into slavery. Did you hear what I said? We're going to help. We're going to help. I'm going to leave you as I open up, you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. W-I-L-L, what you will. You have to have a powerful will, or willpower, to make manifest those things that you heard me say today. You can accomplish, mighty race, what you will. I leave you as I greet you in peace. Hotep, shalom, assalamu alaikum, barakani, lafia, and ashe.